The sun baked down on Ash Hollow, a dusty frontier town nestled between the wide Wyoming plains and the shadow of Blood Ridge. The wind carried with it the scent of horses, leather, and desperation. It was the kind of place people either ran from or got stuck in forever. Calder Boone, a lonely cowboy known more for his silence than his drawl, sat outside the town saloon with a rolled cigarette hanging from his lip. At 32, Calder had more scars than friends and too much land out at Dry Creek Ranch to work alone. He'd been a drifter once, an outlaw with a price on his head until he turned his back on violence and tried to live decent. But ghosts clung to him like dust on his boots. Inside the saloon, a drunken auction had broken out. Mira, the town drunk stepdaughter, stood on a splintered table while Harriet Corley, her stepmother, slurred her sales pitch. She's deaf, but she's strong. 18, young, clean, well, mostly. Just needs a good man and hard work. Who'll take her off my hands? The room jeered, a few coins tossed in jest. Calder stood up slowly. His shadow stretched long as he walked inside, boots heavy on the creaking floorboards. "I'll give you $10, he said flatly, "and she comes with clean clothes and her own horse." The room fell quiet. Harriet blinked, surprised anyone took the offer seriously. $10. Calder pulled out a small pouch, tossed it on the table. Now or never. Mira Lou's wide hazel eyes didn't meet his. Her hands fidgeted against her skirt, face calm but too still, like someone who'd stopped expecting kindness long ago. "She can't hear you, mister," Harriet snorted. "Deaf as a river stone." Calder didn't reply. He stepped forward, took Mira gently by the arm, and led her out. He didn't see pity in her eyes, just a quiet resignation, and something else, buried deep, something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Chapter 2, The Girl with the Quiet Eyes. Dry Creek Ranch was 30 miles from the town, wide and lonesome, with hills that rolled like a sleeping beast. Calder had no wife, no family, just a bunkhouse, a couple of horses, and his aging hound, Dusty. Mira didn't speak. She nodded when he gestured, obeyed when he pointed. But her eyes were alert, too alert. She noticed things a deaf girl wouldn't. The sound of boots on wood, the jangle of spurs, the bark of a dog before he entered the room. He watched her closely. One day, he tapped his tin cup 3 times on the kitchen table, pretending to pour coffee. Her head snapped up. She heard it. She heard it. Calder didn't say anything. He just nodded, then turned away. Over the weeks, Mira found rhythm in ranch life. She cooked simple meals, tended the chickens, even helped herd cattle, moving like someone born to the land. Calder taught her how to ride bareback and fix fences. Her hands were rough, her back strong, and her silence didn't bother him. Sometimes at night, he'd find her standing under the stars, lips moving faintly, like she was whispering to someone far away. Chapter 3, The Fire and the Fight. Danger came in the form of Clay Braddock, a former outlaw Calder once rode with in New Mexico. Braddock and his gang drifted into Ash Hollow, guns and greed in their eyes. "You hit out." Boone. Braddock growled when they met in town. "Turned farmer. Never figured you for a coward." Calder stayed calm. "I figured I'd had enough killing." "Maybe, but I reckon you still owe me. 10,000 from that Silver Run job disappeared the night you left. I want it back." "There was never 10,000, Calder said. "Just blood." Braddock spat. "You pay up, or we burn that little ranch to the ground. And I seen the girl." Calder's blood turned to ice. That night, he rode hard back to Dry Creek. Mira waited on the porch, lantern in hand, worry etched on her face. "We got trouble," he told her, forgetting she was supposed to be deaf. "Pack what you can. We might have to ride tonight." She stared. "How many men?" He froze. "You spoke." "I never said I was deaf," she replied softly. But no one ever asked, either. Chapter 4. Truce Beneath the Silence. Mira confessed everything under that dark Wyoming sky. My real name is Mira Langston. My mother died when I was 10. Harriet married my father for his land, then drank it all away. When he passed, she told everyone I was deaf. It made me easier to sell off. You pretended? Calder asked, not angry, just stunned. It kept me safe, she said. No one expects much from a deaf girl. They don't ask you to scream when you're scared. Calder felt something split in him. Not betrayal, recognition. He too had lived with lies, with shadows. They both wore silence like armor. You're safe here, he said finally, long as I breathe. Chapter 5. Fire on the Plains. Braddock came at dawn. 6 riders thundered across the hills toward Dry Creek. Mira had already loaded rifles and saddled the horses. Calder stood beside her with a shotgun in hand. I won't run, she said. I won't let you get hurt. We fight, she insisted. The battle was fast and brutal. Calder took down 2 men before a bullet grazed his ribs. Mira, sharp-eyed and steady, shot another off his horse. Braddock kicked in the barn door, snarling. You always were a coward, Boone. No, Calder said, cocking the rifle. I just found something worth protecting. He fired once. Braddock dropped. Chapter 6. Redemption Under Stars. 2 days passed. The sheriff came, shook his head at the bloodshed, but said nothing. Outlaws settling scores wasn't unusual in these parts. Calder had protected his land and his woman. That was enough justice for Ash Hollow. In the days that followed, Calder healed, slow and stubborn. Mira stayed by his side. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. One evening, as fireflies danced and the coyotes sang far off, Calder took her hand. You could go now. No one owns you. She looked up, eyes shining. I never belonged to anyone, she said, but I choose you. Epilogue. Love that listened. A year later, the ranch bloomed. They had chickens, cattle, a new barn, and laughter in the air. Mira taught children in the valley, especially those with disabilities. She helped them find their voices, like she had found hers. Calder never said much, but every night he wrapped her close, held her like the only treasure he had. And when their daughter was born, fierce, loud, and full of life, Calder whispered into her ear, and Mira smiled. In a world that once tried to silence them both, they had found a love that listened.